your local election headquarters. An ABC4 News Town Hall Special, Coronavirus, a Path Forward.
Welcome back. We are live outside of the Utah State Capitol on a beautiful Monday night. We are with candidate for Governor Greg Hughes. Greg, we're now turning to the state response. Some of the things we saw happening in the early days have garnered pretty sharp criticism. So as a candidate for governor, what's your overall assessment as to how the state responded to the crisis?
I'll even go, yeah, it's problematic, but let me tell you where it started to become problematic. A candidate for this race, Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, he chairs the state's COVID-19 task force. That role, maybe the only statewide candidate in America who's not a governor, that is running their state's COVID-19 response. As these questions have come up about, you can have the great press conferences and the updates about bringing people together in public-private partnerships and lead those announcements. But when these questions come up and you don't see the chairman of the COVID-19 task force, Lieutenant Governor Spencer Cox, answering these questions that the public has, and how we're going to do this together and we're going to volunteer turns into no bid single source contracts, when he's nowhere to be found and you bring this up, you're accused, and I'm doing it anyway, but as a candidate, you're accused of exploiting the issue or the virus for purposes of the campaign. And it's had a chilling effect on the discussion about the state's response amongst the candidates, because they don't want to be accused of that. And so it has made this issue, which was already inherently difficult, even harder given the politics of it. And that was avoidable. It didn't have to be that way.
We've asked the Lieutenant Governor about specifically the purchase of hydroxychloroquine. He said he was unaware of that. I asked him if he should have been aware of that. He answered that question a couple of weeks ago. Do you think he should have been?
Well, yes. I mean, what we saw in the convention cycle is that he was withdrawing and saying, hey, I have to work on this all day, every day. The coronavirus, COVID-19 task force, I can't engage in the election cycle. But then when questions come up, if you're saying, I didn't know anything about it, it's just not, that's not leadership. It's just not. So he needed to be aware of it. And the question remains, whether it's the tracing, whether it's the testing. If you weren't, the biggest question is why. And those are questions that every candidate should be comfortable asking, and we should be debating this.
So what would you have done different then? Because part of their response as well is, look, we're acting fast, we have to move fast, we have to purchase, and there are a million things going on right now.
Look, you can't overlay this in any experience you've had, but when I was a public servant and I was on the clock, I am involved in every decision, whether it's the announcement of what we're going to do, but when questions, this is why you got a candidate in me where you got battle scars, you've been through these fights. You have to be there even when the hard questions are asked, and you have to say, look, we had mission creep, or we got outside the scope, or explain why this was exactly right for the time we were in and what we did to move the needle in a positive way, but you have to be in that spot. That's where I would be, and I not just by way of a campaign promise, that's what I did when I was Speaker of the House.
Do you believe the money we saw spent in no-bid contracts was spent responsibly on behalf of the taxpayer? We
don't know. I guess my biggest question for that, Glenn, is that I don't think we've been told, look, there's a lot of hand-wringing, it was tense times, we had to hurry. I don't know. I don't know how you get from seeing the public expressions of tech leaders and execs saying, we're going to do this and we're not going to ask for a dime, to single source no-bid contracts in the millions. I don't know how that bridge was crossed, but I don't think anyone's given us a better answer than we were just in a hurry, or things were fast and fast-paced. You got to do better than that.
Well, my understanding is how we went from more of a charity event to a multi-million-dollar contract with Test Utah was they were going to focus on one site, and then they decided to push it off to other sites, and that's where some of that spending came in.
And Glenn, where that starts, and this is where these questions should be asked, and this campaign and all candidates, not just myself, but all candidates should be able to ask these things out loud and not feel like they're exploiting this issue, is I've understood that there are much larger companies than Google or Apple. I've understood that there are smaller companies that offered all of these things and the ability to expand to the degree the state wanted to for free, without charge. This is what we're told. Wouldn't it be nice to know whether that is actually the case?
Okay, I have a question from Nicole Pettingill we want to get to real quick. She says, my daughter and I work at a grocery store. We are scared going to work every day. A group of 20 people came in to shop, and none of them were wearing masks. Will you make it mandatory to wear masks when shopping?
I won't. I think this is the land of the free, home of the brave. Never have a job that you're too afraid to go and work in. There are different areas you can work. I will tell you this, we all have to take precautions. We all have to, proceed with caution. If we don't want any more auto fatalities, you could ban driving, and you would not have another single car accident or someone dying from that. But what would be the consequences from that? Or lower the speed limit to 10 miles an hour.
Yeah, but this is a little different situation than what you're talking about there, though, because people could be coming into the store infected with the virus and giving it to those.
And I'll say this: if the business owner themselves feels that it is how they are going to take these safe precautions, and they want that to be the case, then it's up to the business to do it. And I think some businesses are doing it this way.
Seen that.
And I have no objection to businesses it's like when the state closed down the churches. My church didn't hold services, so I didn't know, but there were churches that wanted to open that the state said you can't. And then they finally said recently, you can open, but this is how you're going to worship inside your churches, and this is how far apart you have to be. My issue isn't how far apart you have to be, it's who makes those decisions.
And you think
I would
it should
say,
be made at the church or the business
yes,
level.
the faith leaders have the best interests of their congregation
right.
in heart. Same with those in these business environments with customers to make sure everyone's safe.
We have to wrap that segment up on this note, but still to come here on Utah's Capitol Hill, unprecedented levels of economic hardship, stress, and isolation, addressing a potential mental health crisis on coronavirus, a path forward when we return.